Hola, it is Ryan from Sports Science Collective, and today I'm reviewing an article titled The Effects of Mental Imagery with Video Modeling on Self-Efficacy and Maximal Front Squat Ability. Background. Well, the front squat is a common squat variation and it is well documented to improve lower body and trunk strength and performance qualities such as sprinting and vertical jumping. It is also a valuable component in the clean, and as such is used in two sports and is a regular in programming for many sports. Athletes dedicate lots of time to improving the physical qualities of their performance, in this case the front squat, yet often overlook psychological training, especially more complex tasks such as mental imagery. Well, what is mental imagery? Well, mental imagery is a cognitive process that involves either creating or recreating experiences that are similar to real-life situations. And this process has been shown to improve performance in a variety of sports settings and tasks requiring lifting, pulling, speed, power, and endurance. However, the role of mental imagery on strength performance is not well understood, and results have been mixed, perhaps due to the traditional visualization procedures used. So what do we mean by that? Well, Wright and Smith have said in the past that these traditional visualization strategies pretty much relied exclusively on the visual aspects of imagery. So they didn't take into consideration the many factors that can be considered with imagery. So the emotional kind of the feelings associated with that imagery. So really immersing themselves. Modeling, however, is seen traditionally as a separate thing to visualization, and it is in fact observational learning. And it has been suggested to involve similar neural pathways to visualization and thus may complement it. This process often involves the use of videos, direct observation, and pictures to enhance learning. So you can see on the video on the right there a video of a lifter performing a front squat with some feedback about joint angles and technique. And it has been said that both of these strategies combined may enhance self-efficacy. So when we're talking about that, we're talking about beliefs in one's capabilities to organise and execute the courses of action required to produce given attainments. So of course the research aim from this project was to determine if mental imagery supplemented with video modelling would be effective in increasing front squat 3RM. Study design. There were 20 participants, 13 male and 7 female, that chose to take part in the study. All of them did have a reasonable background in strength and conditioning and had not practiced any mental imagery prior to the study. 10 were allocated to a control group and 10 to an intervention or experimental group. Session 1 and 2 were roughly the same, and they involved a mobilisation session followed by dynamic stretching. Then a warm-up. So the warm-up was 5 reps at 60% of estimated 3RM, 4 reps at 70, 3 reps at 80, 2 reps at 90 before an attempt at the 3 repetition maximum. If participants were successful at getting their 3RM, the weight was increased by 10 pound or 4.5 kilo until a true 3RM was established. Critically, during this session, participants in the experimental group had their technique filmed while the control group did not. Self-efficacy was also assessed immediately prior to each testing session. So the self-efficacy scale by Bandura was from 0 to 100, and 0 meaning I cannot at all perform the front squat with good technique, and 100 is highly certain that I can perform the front squat with good technique. Study design. Well, the intervention. Following the 3RM testing, participants in the experimental group were given a copy of their video with an accompanying visualization script. They also received a video of an expert lifter of similar height, weight, age, and the same gender on which to model their performance. So participants in the experimental group were instructed to view both videos 6 times between testing sessions, so twice each day, and use the script provided to imagine themselves performing the front squat with the same technique as the model lifter. The experimental group also practiced this imagery immediately prior to retesting. And during this imagery, they were instructed to focus with particular attention paid to the technical aspects of the movement, so where the head, spine, hip alignment, etc. And were also directed to exert emotional control, so to feel their muscles activate as if they were physically performing the exercise, to feel a muscle activation, emotional qualities, etc. associated with that movement. What did the control group do? Participants in the control group received a video of a baby squatting and were provided no useful information about the video. We are not joking, that's actually the video that they were given. So, results and discussion. Well, some interesting stuff. So prior to testing, you'll notice that there was no significant differences. So no significant differences in 3RM performance or in self-efficacy, remembering the scale being from 0 to 100. After, there were significant improvements. So the significant improvement here in self-efficacy, so we can see the change from 82 to 91, whether the control group had 83 to 76, so actually decreased their self-efficacy, except it wasn't found to be significant. But a significant improvement in self-efficacy, so how they perceived themselves being capable of performing in the experimental group. And this led to a significant improvement in 3RM. So we can see the squat here went from 183 to 191. Remember, this is pounds also. But that was found to be a significant improvement. So the researchers concluded that the results of this study indicate that a mental imagery protocol supplemented with video modelling is one mechanism by which self-efficacy might positively influence front squat 3RM. So how can you apply this to your training or your sport? Well, here are some following tips. So film yourself while training. It doesn't necessarily matter what the sport, it doesn't have to be a front squat. And find video footage of an expert performer similar to you in their height, weight, and performance characteristics, and of course gender, and analyse their technique and habits closely. Write yourself or seek help from a psychologist, a visualisation script, and include many details, including technical cues, emotions, feelings, anything that you can really think of that will help you visualise that moment. Practice that immersive visualization and modeling regularly, and make sure to live in the moment as much as possible when doing that. Also, develop a pre-performance routine that involves that modeling and visualization, and do not change that between training and competition. So pre-performance routines have been long established to help athletes in both improving performance, but more importantly in avoiding choking. Here are the references if you would like to go and read them in your own time. Otherwise, if you have any questions, please ask us about those either in a private message or contact us via email. Thanks for watching.